Today's meeting, today's coalition, these are two important days for us, very important. Today, the meeting of the coalition of the willing in London, and the day before there was an EU leaders meeting in Brussels. I thank you guys for all the support and your readiness to keep helping. And today, all the partners confirmed that next year they will continue to support Ukraine, our country, our resilience, especially the financial support, which is crucial. And today, the new Prime Minister of Ukraine joins the coalition for the first time, and all the signals are clear. Thank you. We all see the challenges these days, and the Russians are carrying out a campaign of terror against our energy system, and they really want to make the winter cold a tool of torment and pressure on Ukraine, our people, and on our defense. And Russia's goal hasn't changed. They want to break us, want to break Ukraine, and they are doing everything to achieve it. So that's why our defense means everything that truly stops Russia from killing, destroying, and terrorizing. First, air defense. And today we spoke in detail with our partners about the systems. It's important that our partners focus on what's most practical and effective. And we gave all the details. Second, of course, it's important that everyone agrees the front needs substantial attention and the focus must be on it, and thank for all the steps of help. And third, we are promoting a more meaningful approach to diplomacy. Diplomacy matters only when it can lead to real decisions. And when it comes to Russia, that dish has many ingredients. The essential ones are real forms of pressure on Russia, sanctions, our long-range capabilities, political pressure, accountability for war crimes, and real actions regarding Russian assets. Today we all agreed sanctions that hit Russian oil infrastructure, Russian oil companies are a big step, and I thank President Trump and all our partners who are implementing this. And we have to apply pressure not only to Rosneft and Lukoil, but to all Russian oil companies like Surgutneftegas and others, and to the shadow fleet and its infrastructure, and to Russia's oil terminals. And we have to implement all we have discussed today about the Russia's shadow fleet. Besides, we are carrying out our own campaign of pressure with drones and missiles, specifically targeting the Russian oil sector. So the long-range capability directly strengthens diplomacy, the more losses Putin suffers on his own territory. The fewer assaults he can carry out on the front line, and the faster he will agree to meaningful diplomacy. That is why we are working to secure Tomahawk cruise missiles, additional Storm Shadow missiles, other capabilities. Thank you very much, Keir, for today's decision. Thank you for your support that you said, and about long range. And there must be no option left for Russia except to end the war and return peace to our country. And of course, I also want to thank our partners for working with us to produce weapons, for investing in our country, for joint projects, and for the agreements we are now implementing. And one more point is Pearl program. I thank for each contribution. Mark, thank you for coordinating this program, for each contribution, and today we agreed to step up in the coming months. Peace is born from pressure on the aggressor, and that is what we must continue to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Volodymyr. Mark, can I turn to you?
Yeah, thank you, and good afternoon. And as Keir Starmer and Volodymyr Zelenskiy have said, we just concluded a very productive meeting of the Coalition of the Willing. and I welcome the initiative allies are showing to strengthen our support to Ukraine even further. Just 2 days ago I was in Washington where I had a very good meeting with President Trump. The sanctions that the US has placed against Russia's largest oil companies will starve them of revenue and significantly increase the pressure on Putin to come to the negotiating table. And they show once again that President Trump is absolutely committed to end this war and bring a lasting peace to Ukraine. I'm glad that I was able here today to join allies and partners to discuss how we support these peace efforts and how we can increase the pressure on Russia to get there. In Ukraine, Putin is gaining little ground on the battlefield. And where there are marginal gains, they are coming at a huge price. Hundreds of thousands of Russians are dying for Putin's deluded aggression. Ukraine continues defending itself bravely, and our support to them is working. The truth is that Putin is running out of money, troops and ideas. President Trump said it very well. They should stop where they are now. And now is the right time to increase the pressure on Russia, so we can finally get a fair and a just peace for Ukraine. I therefore welcome the recent announcements by European allies and Canada of additional military aid to Ukraine. The developments on the battlefield show that our support to Ukraine is working, and we need to keep it up. We need to pair this support with sanctions and economic pressure, and the EU's 19 seconds package against Russia is another good step in this direction. On both sides of the Atlantic, we want this war to end. And the good discussions this week in Washington, yesterday in the European Council and now in London indicate we are moving in the right direction. Thank you so much.
Mark, thank you so much. Mette, can I come to you?
First of all, thank you, Keir, for hosting us today, and thank you, Volodymyr, for joining us yesterday in Brussels in a meeting with the European Council, and today in the Coalition of the Willing. It was Putin that called President Trump some days ago because he was scared that Ukraine would get the upper hand. Yet he rejected Trump's proposal for a ceasefire along the current front lines, a suggestion that we support, and same goes for you in Ukraine. But Putin doesn't want to stop the killings. There is no indication that Russia and Putin wants peace, not even a ceasefire. And Russia continues its hybrid war against NATO and the West. Today, the Coalition of the Willing, we have agreed to increase the pressure on Russia, agreed that we must find long-term financing of Ukraine's ability to keep fighting, boost Ukraine's defense industry with European financing, finance much-needed US weapons, and to put more pressure on Putin's weak economy with new sanctions. I think this week we have taken significant steps with EU's new sanctions package, targeting Russian energy sector, the shadow fleet, and much more. United States have now sanctioned, as we already have heard, Russia's 2 largest oil companies. And already last week, the UK, announced sanctions targeting those companies as well. I think Putin's strategy has been to wait for us to stop, at some point to give up. But of course, this will never happen. So once again, we have today agreed to be united in our efforts, and our promise to you, dear Volodymyr, and to Ukraine and to all Europeans is that we are willing to continue, of course.
Thank you so much. And then to you, Dick, please.
Thank you, Keir, and thank you for hosting the Coalition of the Willing today. And Volodymyr,